spell on you. And now you're mine. You can't stop the things I do. I ain't lying. Oh, been 300 years, right down to the day. Now the witch is back, and there's hell to pay. I put a spell on you. Ask my sister. She's vicious. I put a spell on you. A wicked spell. I put a spell on you. Sister. I say it's a pie, up or maybe up and die. I say it's a pie, up or maybe up and die. It's a Koreama. Hey, I say bye. I put a spell on you. And now you're mine. You can't stop the things I do. I ain't lying. Oh, been 300 years, right down to the day. Now the witch is back, and there's hell to pay. I put a spell on you. Hello, sailor. My name's Wilfred. Hello, you.
We're live.
We're live.
We're live. Hey, everyone, and welcome to the Nerdy Up North podcast. It's a nerdy podcast hosted by Northern Nerds. I am one of your hosts, Sam.
And I'm one of the hosts, Paul. And tonight's episode is a very special episode. We are joined by the lovely team podcast, Charlotte. Like I say, she's recovering after a victory after Sunday. I do let her have that one. And we have a very mystical and magical guest tonight. We have the lovely Holly, who has joined us all the way from the big... I would say describe it over the Atlantic Ocean.
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. Yes. We're in Pennsylvania, yes. So and
the mountains.
And our first ever American on the Nerdy Up North podcast. So we are very northern today. So yes. So this week's episode, like I know me and Holly's been chatting for a while, and she was very amazingly joined our Nerdy Up North group a few months ago. It's been a while since you've been with one of the cult members now. I can see you've shared a lot of great and amazing artwork. But Holly wanted to share with us today as well. She does have a Kickstarter going. So before we start grilling Holly and getting a bit more information, so if
having fun,
yes, if you would like to tell us a little bit about that, and I'll put the image up about what it's about there as well.
Oh, okay. Also, I never asked you about my lighting. Can you see me? Okay.
Yes, and you're coming through brilliant on the video. You really are.
I wasn't sure, and then I was like, oh, I forgot to ask. Yeah, so I'm doing a Kickstarter. I think this is into the second week. Mm-hmm. And I was lucky enough to obtain the rights to create t-shirts, art prints, and pins of Vampirella, mm-hmm. which is a comic book that I was deeply, madly in love with as a teenager in the 70s. And so when I read the contract and I saw the word pin, you could think of badges, but I thought, oh my gosh, why not an enamel pin? Yeah. Why not the biggest, most glorious enamel pin I could design? So I had 2 pieces of art that they had used for cover art. I could grab the cover.
Oh,
hold on. Do you have it?
No, I had the image of the image that you sent us for the Kickstarter with the amazing pin.
You could all have in the background.
This is where I reach back and I have like everything here. This is we call this the Hawaiian room, but I also paint in here. Oh, cool. But this was the design that I did and it was a tribute to Nagel, the artist who was big in the 80s, Paul. Who did the cover of Duran Duran's Rio. Yeah. But I like Duran Duran since Planet Earth, so there.
Before the telephone got big there.
Yes. Oh my God. We'll talk about that later. But like I had 2 pieces of art. That was the other one, but this is beautiful. The black and white version. And then here's the color version on a t-shirt. Whoa. Nope. It's upside down.
Oh wow!
Now Sammy's going to.
Carolyn would lose her mind over it. Carolyn's a huge fan.
Oh my gosh, really? And then here's the other design on the t-shirt as well.
Very good. Like, see, I love your artwork. Like, it's. I know I draw a little bit compared to like that. I just love how I don't understand how it gets so crisp and clean. Like when I draw things, it's always like. It's never like even when I shade it, it looks like you can tell it's been shaded. But every time you look at one of yours, you do it looks like almost like a photograph in certain details as well. So I am always envious when I see people with like that kind of talent who can make things out of nothing and make it stand out. And yeah, so. I might fanboy a little bit over like the artwork. That was always.
And I might maternal you and go, "Oh, Paul, let's sit down. Your artwork is beautiful." There's different mediums, so you get different visuals. Plus, I also work digitally. So sometimes it'll be incredibly crisp because it's all created, in Photoshop. Yeah. So. There's so many different ways to create art now. It's an amazing time to be an artist because not only can you sit down, create with your hands and a piece of paper, but you could do it at the computer. And then you could also, I'm very techie. We have I must get brain fog. We have a website. I don't have to talk to it. I could just do it. We have a website. So you can create your art. You can put it on the website. And then like Kickstarter, if you have an idea that you need to crowdfund, you can reach out to people. And for me, running a Kickstarter is so much fun because I also studied theater and I also studied film and all these types of entertaining and performing. And so it's almost like taking all of that, sticking it in a jar and shaking it up. Yeah. Because it's like being on stage and going, and I have this, and I have this. And then you feel the love every time someone makes a pledge. You're like, oh my God, I'm validated. Someone loves me. It is very personal.
No, definitely. I think that's like, because I am a typical northern bloke. I get quite in myself and shy when it comes to like promoting anything I do. Like these guys will tell you how bad I get because as soon as like this project kind of kicked off, like the whole Nerdy Up North thing, I was like, it's got nothing to do with me. It's everyone else. I've got nothing to do with this. I just came up with the initial thing. But then they keep saying, no, but you keep pushing the idea. And it's like, it's almost like the quintessential Englishman going, oh, I can't take pride, or I can't take responsibility for anything that's
I
happening.
won't take credit for this.
No,
It's okay. The girls will beat that out of you, I'm sure.
And we do
Yeah.
regularly.
We try.
I could see.
I do always get up with the bruises though, especially when we meet up. But yes, no, like say the Vampirella stuff, that takes us back. So I remember seeing the comics in the comic book shop when I was younger, and it was always when my dad wouldn't let us go near them because it was always the provocative and also the like. Not that it wasn't ever like naughty or anything. It was just like quite sexualized, especially the covers, and always beautiful and like looked. But my dad was like, no, you can go back to Spider-Man. You can't go to these ones just yet. Yeah, like say, and it's like Sam's wet dream.
That's
there.
original.
Like, oh.
Do you know what's really surprising for like the uber goth in me? I've never read Vampirella.
Really?
My best friend cannot wrap her brain around it because she absolutely loves Vampirella. I never read one before. I don't know why.
You probably would really enjoy the original 70s. I mean, I really can't speak what's going on now because, I'm stuck in the 70s with her, where it was very influenced by Dark Shadows and all the Hammer movies. And I love that.
Yeah.
I've seen Vampirella turned into a superhero and I mean, I've heard, through the grapevine, she's not really from another planet, which I'm like, no, you can't take that away from me.
Yeah. It's one of them though, with all the IPs that are going around. It's something that potentially I can see should work on the big screen or visually or even a TV show. A lot of TV shows are getting made for like comic books. It always makes us wonder why this like Vampirella hasn't been picked up. Or
they did a terrible movie.
All right.
Yeah. Well, I shouldn't say that. Someone might love that movie. It was a Roger Corman movie.
Right. Okay.
Oh well, there you go.
And it had Roger Daltrey playing Van Helsing, or was he playing Vlad? Vlad, maybe. It was. And I'm very fussy, so I should say that.
It's fine. Like I say, everyone's got their
well, no,
opinions,
I don't want to poop on someone's parade.
I didn't even know the film was there, but I thought like as a modern adaptation, it might be one of the ones because I know. Well, like I said, look how big Elvira got, and like I said, it's kind of modelled on the same type of aesthetic, shall we say? And she's still going to this day now.
To this day, 40 years. I watched her 40th anniversary on Shudder recently. In 40 years, that woman's been going. I don't get it either. And this is probably why. And it's really hard for us to say that why I don't read it because I love 70s comics. Especially the Steve Ditko era and Doctor Strange and how like absolutely utterly beautifully bizarre them reads are. So I never understood why I never picked it up. Just lazy.
There's always tomorrow.
That's true.
Definitely. That's always the thing. Like I said, you might not have read it now, but there's always the future that you can pick it up and like say,
that is true.
And also now I'll plug my own thing. Hold on. That's reading those inspired me, and I created my own. Oh, there you are. My own thing.
Right.
Oh wow.
That's stunning.
So, and I love black and white comics
Yes.
because Vampirella was black and white. So this was influenced by Barbarella and Vampirella, and some other gothic stuff that I would read. I read this beautiful book about a girl who fell in love with the angel of death, and that really inspired me. So this is actually an add-on. Like we have comics that are sort of satelliting the pin, and not everyone wanted a pin, so we put this is my other book is School Bites.
Right.
And it's more of Harry Potter with fangs.
That's That sounds like it'll be up Donna Street there. Donna will be on that there.
Oh yeah. So this is a crossover with Jim's comic, and which just came out this Wednesday. This is the issue.
Wow.
This is Tarot, Witch of the Black Rose.
Yeah, I've seen a few of the posts on your Facebook about tarot as well. Like some of the covers are just unbelievable. Like proper, I hate to say it, 80s style, like metal, like goth. I can see all them type of influences. But I know because when Sam heard you were coming on the podcast, she got very excited because she's always wanted to ask questions to like a fellow writer and someone who's been into comics, because like when she found comics, she didn't have the best experience, like say with especially women in the industry, and like say with nerds and stuff. They've always looked to kind of like down upon and stuff like that, where it's almost like they don't belong. But I think women now are certainly taking over and like showing more of a presence, and you're getting more influences and getting better stuff from it. But I know Sam really has a few questions for you there.
Yeah, I had a really bad experience when I got into comics was 2014, and I had a really bad experience in a comic book shop with a bunch of men who just absolutely belittled us and berated us and right to my face. And it was the horriblest experience, but on the back of that was probably it turned out to be one of the best experiences, because then I started to discover women in comics. And I watched a documentary called, and I bang on about this anytime that I can. I saw a documentary called She Makes Comics.
Yeah, and they didn't call me.
Devastated for you, Holly, because honestly, it was
been doing this for 26, 27 years. That's all.
Oh, terrible of them, because honestly, you would have fit in so well, especially amongst the women who were there. But it really like opened my eyes up at the time. Yeah. I was writing for a website in Texas. So I was doing comic book reviews. It started with comic movie reviews and then moved on to comic book reviews. And I always look like writing is a big part of us, even though I am incredibly dyslexic. I still absolutely love it. It's therapy for us. But I wanted to ask.
Yes.
Well, firstly, I wanted to ask you style of writing. Do you stick to the Marvel method, or do you have your own way of creating your stories in comics? It's interesting. Yes, first of all, the movie, if it inspired you, made you feel loved and inspired, that's great. So, thanks.
But as someone who works in the industry, I can't watch.
I can totally understand that.
It's like, I had Draw the Marvel Way when I was 11 or 10, the book. I studied acting in college. So the closest, I studied plays. I also am dyslexic. And
there's the three of us then.
Yeah. I'll just talk about working in the industry. Mm-hmm. I think my first serious writing happened with Archie. Mm-hmm. And the best, wonderful way that you get to write with Archie is all storyboards.
Right.
So basically, I sit down with a piece of paper and I sketch out each panel and then literally handwrite the words in there. Mm-hmm. And this is what Archie said, and this is what Ronnie said back, boo, 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 boo. And so it looks like something to shoot a small film. And that's how I got through my college courses when I had to do my work. Yeah. Like I had to direct a play. I literally drew a comic book. I said, okay, and this is where you're going to be, and this is what you're going to say. Because I think visually. Yeah. So I've never been very confident about my writing. And so I first think of myself as an artist, and then my art is speaking, you know, and what is it they're saying? So I don't think there's any right way to write. Yeah. And if anyone, and yes, I did work a little bit with Hollywood when when Vampire was optioned as a movie, I had to work with their scripts and look at them, and it was, just like very difficult.
Mhm.
But I think if for writing for comic books, Jim, my husband, does a lot of writing for tarot first, and his looks like a script.
Yeah.
Right.
And it says who's saying and this, and then there's a little bit of direction for the editor to understand, because he basically checks all of the spelling. And to me, that is the way to do a comic. You make sure that when you're working with an artist, you remember you're working with an artist. You're not working with a filmmaker.
Yeah.
Each panel, think about, there's a page. I worked for a magazine called Cosmo Girl, and they drove me crazy because I swear, I think I had 17 panels on a page at one time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, guys, we can't do it this way. It has to, there's a visual rhythm. You can break panels. So as long as you understand the language of the visual, you hear what they're saying, you direct the visual with your writing.
Yeah.
I never really had that because I never had to tell an artist. I always, So I would say, have mercy on your artist. No one can move in a panel, because I have seen scripts that someone says, and they did this in the panel. It's like, you can't do that. It's either this or
that. Yeah, it's
right.
It's something, because my best friend Carolyn, she's an artist, and we've just talked for years about collaborating on something. But when we get to sit down together, it's so hard to have the conversation of how I would like it to be to how she would like it to be. And I just wanted to have an idea as how do you do it? How do you have this conversation with an artist?
I think what really helps to communicate with an artist is to have examples. Mm-hmm. So find something that's close to your vision.
Yeah.
And have that as, well, this is kind of what I see. Mm-hmm. This is the jumping off point.
Yeah.
And then maybe you could think of like another movie or something that has a tone. Mm-hmm. Not that yours shouldn't be original, because if that's the case, then you have, you have to flesh out this completely original, character or moment on a piece of paper, and do it as best as you can. Mm-hmm. And then either read it to them or have them read it, and then discuss what do they understand.
Yeah.
It's a very intimate thing to write and to illustrate. Yeah. And as long as you guys have respect for each other's visions,
the process
it's a process.
It is. We sat down a few years ago and we started hashing out ideas, and it just became so overly complicated. We made it probably harder than what it was, to where we just went, oh, we're not doing that anymore. But we talk about it every time we have a chance to talk about working together. We always we have such great ideas, and then we just never follow it through.
Yeah.
And now she's gone and had a baby, so do you know?
No, it's an interesting way you speak, because like I say, I've never went out to create, because I'm one of the ones where I like to make something like a poster or like something that like a one shot type thing. But I remember doing because it's interesting to see in Archie, but I think in the UK when we were kids, Archie wasn't really as big over here. We had like the Beano or the Dandy, and one of the books I grew up with, I actually created a book for the school, was about Noddy. I don't know if you've heard of Noddy there. It's a
Noddy!
Yeah, he's a little little elf guy, but all his friends were like toys and stuff. So each page of the book I just drew what I like. It wasn't much of a story. I just drew panels of the book. That was always the thing. I don't think I'm creative enough to create that type of story. I just like make things looking pretty, if that makes sense.
Well, that's like a book plate. It's an illustration, and sequentials are incredibly hard. Yeah. I am so challenged, and when I first got my tryout for Archie, I was in tears. Marley the Ghost and Scrooge around the house, how
Yeah.
oh my god, it is one of the hardest things to do. I do love it. I think some people have a natural cinematic camera in their head. I watch my husband's panels and his perspective and the way he could turn the camera and see human bodies from different positions and his buildings. I mean, it's like, it's like Mozart, and I'm still Salieri, with my sequentials. But when I sit down to paint, I feel more free. When I do a portrait, I love doing portraits. And for me to marry the two with Vampirella was like a big deal. I have the painting I did. And there are pictures of me crying. I too am a crier, Sam.
Great. I'm not alone.
No, but it's interesting saying about your portraits as well, because I know we've got mutual friends on Instagram. You've done a portrait of one, that's amazing. Sorry,
that.
I know.
But you did I've forgotten the name of the girl now, but you've done a portrait of
Heather.
Heather, that's the one. That looked absolutely stunning. Like I say, the picture you did for her. That's it, yes. Like the eyes.
Heather.
Like say, got the one with all the Stephen King
The
pictures.
books.
Yeah.
Oh my God, really? That's Heather.
Yeah. That's.
I can see her now. It's the eyes.
Yes.
I asked her if it was okay if she posed for me.
Oh, bless her.
Because that's part of my Kickstarter. Actually, we just hit that stretch goal. I'm doing I'm always plugging in an idea. So, this is the Shadow Zodiac.
Right.
And she is the second maiden of the Shadow Zodiac. Her name is Violet Night.
Oh, wow.
And like I wrote like a little sort of legend about her. I could send it to you. So far we've got Poppy Moon. She's over here.
Oh, wow.
Poppy. All right.
I'm in me goth heaven right here, man.
Here's Poppy.
Yes, I saw that one.
Wow.
Stunning. Like, how long does it actually take you to paint these as well? Because I know some artists do them like quite quick, but like, is it like a day, 2 days, or a week?
No, it's about a day. Because we do everything in-house. We're our own publishing house. So it's not just painting. So maybe I could get the sketch out and then I have to do another errand for the business. And then I'll come back and look at the sketch, show it to Jim, okay, it's okay. Then watercolor. And when you're watercoloring, usually, you should get that done. But this one actually took a while. I did these coffins.
Yeah, I've seen the coffins. The coffins are absolutely stunning.
Look at the red in that, man.
Yeah.
There's actually foil in here too.
I was thinking it looked like quite glittery, but oh my God, I am very sensory. Like I love colors. And that red is like standing right out for us.
But living in that house
oh my God,
as well.
It even opens.
But living in your house as well, like say with you having all them different creative outlets, it must be like say an amazing feeling. Just basically say, right, what am I going to do today? I'm just going to draw. I'm going to paint. But yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I stain them too.
Right. So we're all just jealous of Holly's talent now. So that's fine.
Yeah. Oh my God, look at that,
It's
man.
insanity. So I did little wee ones too, but these were claimed. I'm so happy because when you open these guys, there's like a little Vampirella inside.
Yes, that's what I saw as well. That was beautiful. But, just going back as well, like say when you said you got into Archie as well. So how did that get started? Like how did you physically get into the opportunity?
How to get a job in Archie?
Yeah.
I was working in comics, I guess, from the age of 30. I started. I left fashion industry and I wanted to do something that was my bliss, because I remembered Joseph Campbell, you know, his words, follow your bliss. And whenever I was in a moment of either sadness or pain or confusion, I would always hear his voice.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remembered comic books.
Yeah.
So, you know, I started working for a lot of independents, and that's very difficult. I don't want to talk about how the sausage is made, but that got me to being kind of sad, sitting there with a Betty Digest, because Jim would always buy me, like, I loved Betty. She was my girl.
Yeah.
And so I'm reading it and I'm like, I want to try for these guys. So, I mean, I'm a little nutty. So I looked at the address of where they were, and I sat down and I drew up some pages, because I knew some of the ABCs. Back then it was different. It's very different now getting work.
Yeah.
Back then there was no internet.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Or it was just burgeoning, you know. So I think it was in 1997 or 8.
But still, that must have took some balls to do as well. I know you're saying you're a bit nutty, but to have the balls.
I'm from Manhattan. I'm a New Yorker.
Right.
Yeah. If you don't have that, really, you can't figure things out. I grew up there. I'm still alive.
Very good. But no, I think, like say, we might
And
be
also,
a little bit, cushioned up in the northeast in England here. Like say, that might be like say a bit softer, but that explains it a little bit.
No, I come from a family of entrepreneurs, and you know, my father. I'm first generation. He was born in Yugoslavia. I think there's that immigrant, like, you know, you gotta, if you don't take a chance, you may not survive. So I'm sure there's some sort of genetic in me, you know, because my grandparents faced the Nazis. I'm here, so and the stories. You know, how scary could Archie be? You know,
Archie, fair enough. I'll give you that.
That's right. No, it was, you know, I'm not a physical thrill. Like, I do love rides at amusement parks, but not too crazy.
Yeah.
But I do think that I get like excited and passionate, and I have a dream, and my heroes were George Lucas and Steven Spielberg and Betsy Johnson and you know, Mae West and Marilyn Monroe. You know, it's like, I don't know whether I'm too stupid to be scared or stupid. It's almost like drunk.
I like that. Yeah. It's because I think that a lot of people don't do things because they're scared to fail. I think that's got to be the biggest thing. But hearing that, it is quite inspiring though as well. So just like say that whole
massively for me. I have dropped out of working for a major website a couple of years ago because I was that terrified of it. Because with me dyslexia, when I worked for the one in Texas, I had an amazing editor who made me look fantastic. They never took away anything of what I was writing, but they made it look professional. And I was absolutely terrified of going anywhere else and not having that backup. And especially living in the UK, and then we're in America, it was very, I didn't know if I was going to have the same relationship. So I have stopped myself from doing things out of fear. So that is massively inspired.
Definitely. But I wanted to mention as well, because I know Charlotte's a little bit quiet because like she is a huge fan of you.
She's probably just taken all this in.
Yeah, she is a huge fan of yours. And like say, when you introduced yourself, like say when I posted in the podcast in our chat saying, like say Holly's joined the group, and Charlotte exploded because she's our resident bookworm as well, and she loves like say she's banged on about like your husband's artwork as well, Jim. Like. She just kept on sending us pictures of Catwoman like over and over again, like, how obsessed she was. I don't know, like she's probably a little bit like starstruck, bless her. I know she probably hates us now for pointing it out, but I don't know if Charlotte's got anything you want to ask you there.
Charlotte, you should be a broadsword girl.
Mhm.
And then get a sword and send in your photo to Jim, and it'll be in arrow.
I don't know anybody that would trust me with a sword.
I'm sure Kev could sort it out.
Of everyone and sort of all the art you've done over the years, what would be the standouts for you? What would be the ones that sort of you thought, yeah, like the ones that you were most proud of?
I like that painting I showed you. It's funny because there's like little moments everywhere, and I think for me, when I look at my Archie work, I was like, oh my God, I did all that.
Yeah.
I could barely remember,
Mhm.
and I look through it and it doesn't even, I did this. Oh,
Mhm.
it's,
Mhm.
I don't know. To me, it's like stinging.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's almost like I'm happy it came out of me, and hopefully it made someone happy.
Yeah.
I like the portrait I did of my husband.
Don't break anything.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
It's very labyrinth-esque. It's like
Yeah, that's from my other book. Oh, here, this fell. I did this too.
Oh, Tom.
So I mean, honestly, Charlotte, I feel like an 8-year-old, and I go, would you put this up on your refrigerator? Do you like it? You know what I mean? I don't think I can ignore.
Definitely.
Here's Jim. Charlotte is a big fan.
Hi.
Hello.
Nice to meet you there, Jim.
Oh my God.
Hello, UK.
Hello there.
Hi.
How are you today?
Good. How are you?
A little bit starstruck, but yeah.
I think Charlotte's going to cry. And I think I'm
crying already.
Bless.
So what part of England am I speaking?
The northeast, Sunderland, Newcastle time we're.
Yeah.
Northeast.
So think Edinburgh, we're very much below it. Well, we're below it.
Yes.
To the right. To the right?
To the right, yes.
To the right.
To the
Yeah.
right and
So
down.
we're below Edinburgh to the right. It's not that far away from us.
No problem.
So like the next time we go to Edinburgh, we could call these guys up.
I would definitely go to Edinburgh.
Charlotte was actually there this week. It was Charlotte's birthday this week.
Oh, wow. Happy
It
birthday.
was Monday. Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Jim Fallon just said happy birthday to us.
Bless. Oh, but yes, like I say, thanks for joining us there, Jim. And we're just having a lovely conversation with Holly and just sharing up all her artwork, and yeah, like I say, I'm just totally blown away. But I wanted to ask as well, because I know Holly, you were telling us about Archie, but some of the work you mentioned about was Sabrina as well.
Yes.
So saying that, did you have any influences in like the shows from them? Did they take any elements from the comics that you were involved in there?
Oh, no. The closest thing was like on my first cover, they asked me to, I guess, draw her closer to the show, that she looked like a teenager from the 21st century. That's about it.
Right.
You know, that's one thing about comics is that they asked us to stay kind of away from the TV show or the movie because of the residuals.
I think it has to do with some sort of like copyrights.
Right.
Because just kind of what we're talking about when they asked me to redesign Catwoman, they said, stay away from Michelle Pfeiffer's look. Right. And I said, no problem. I had my own ideas because they told me that if we used that look, any money or profit would go towards, I think, the WB site as opposed to the DC printing site. So I'm assuming it's probably the same thing with Archie.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, they asked me to do that and also to go by Dan DeCarlo's model sheet, because that was one of the things that I think they hired me was that I am a bit of a mimic. I can chameleon people's art styles.
Right. Okay.
And I enjoy it if I like the style. I mean, obviously you get a style, you're like, ugh.
No.
But Dan DeCarlo to me was the pinnacle of Archie art. It was sexy and fun and just wonderful. And I was blessed with having a day of training by him. So, and he's just like Burgess Meredith from Rocky. He was like little tiny, talk like this, and
I know that reference.
She can ink her own work. Let her ink her own work.
Yeah. It is quite interesting though as well, because I think there was a big art boom in the northeast of England, like say for the last 10 years. But a lot of the artists moved away from like commercial art and moved towards like tattoo art and stuff. And that's bit, like a lot of my friends and people I went to college with or university with as well, that moved into like from doing portraits and stuff to the actual tattoo work. Like one of my best friends, Beth, her artwork now, like for tattoos, is like phenomenal and just amazing. Like seeing that grow, and like especially in the northeast. I know when you go to America, especially with the tattoos I've got as well, I've got like the most colourful, weirdest tattoos you can see. And I always get stopped because when we went to Florida for mine and my wife's honeymoon, and walking around Disney Park, and I've got like on my leg, I've got Mike and Sully from Monsters Inc.
Oh wow!
So they were basically like pulling us over, grabbing us by my arm, saying, "Oh, come here, so we can take pictures of your leg." I was like, "This is just weird," but yeah.
Any decent tattoo I have on us is all being done by Beth. And it's lovely though, because I got my sleeve done by her when she first started tattooing. It was quite close. She was still just come out of her apprenticeship, and just to watch like and see her evolution of art is amazing. But my sister is actually an art curator in the Northeast. She works for Nasty Women, but she'll kill us if she ever watches this, because I do pay attention to what she does, but it's really hard to keep up to date. I do love you, Michaela.
But, I know, because like I say, I don't want to just bend your ear about comics and stuff, because I know there was a lot of things you wanted to talk about, Holly. I know how big of a Star Wars fan as well you are. Because like I said, that I know, like say, some seen photographs, like you've modelled a lot of the artwork. So is the Star Wars fandom different or like than it is in the UK? Like what's it like in America?
Well, I consider myself OG,
right?
So I've watched it progress. And the closest thing I think that I could compare it to is, and it's not Star Wars, but it's Doctor Who.
Right.
I was a Doctor Who fan since I was 11 with Tom Baker. And I got to sit in one of the big, what do they call it? Hall E?
Or H?
Hall H in San Diego Comic-Con. There were 6,000 people.
Yeah.
And it was Matt Smith and a whole bunch of other guys. And I swear it was like old reels of the Beatles.
Wow.
I mean, people were throwing themselves on stage, screaming, carrying on. That's how they are here in America. How about there in England? I don't think it's the same.
Yeah,
we're so reserved. We're so reserved.
Yeah. A little bit more reserved.
Yeah, we're very much reserved. I went to Star Wars Celebration Europe in 2016. And I was actually shocked when we were sitting in an auditorium and they did the Rebels, Star Wars Rebels panel. And it was announced that General Thorne, I had my books behind us, I had to find his name. General Thorne was going to be part of Rebels, and the room exploded. And as an English person, I was like,
yes.
what they doing?
No,
it was fantastic though.
It's interesting that you mentioned Doctor Who, because I remember one of my school visits, we got what was my doctor as a kid, Sylvester McCoy.
Okay.
He came in and, like I said, done his little walk and shut his umbrella around to everyone. But like I say, as school kids as well, we were just all sitting there being polite and clapping and stuff like that. But when you see the conventions in America and how they behave and like how excited they get, I do get a little bit of jealousy when we do
same
it.
here.
Because you just don't get that over in the UK. I think it's more reserved. It's getting there.
Yeah, the prime example is the cinema clapping.
Yes.
So we watched a lot of reactions of, like, say, Marvel films where people are clapping at things happening. If you did that in a cinema here, you would probably be escorted out.
I went to see the new Elvis film yesterday, and when it finished, I got a round of applause.
Oh,
really?
Not very British there.
It's just not heard of. Yeah, you'd probably be asked to leave. Whereas all I want to do is just scream at the screen, and I can't because I'm English.
So you go home and cry.
Holly, you have figured me out already. That's what I do.
She did on Sunday when I unboxed Jar Jar in front of her, so she wasn't very happy then. Because Sam's a bit of a collector when it comes to like, say, all the different toys and stuff. But I like to take things out of the box and play with. So I had a collector's edition Jar Jar Binks because she loves Jar Jar.
I love Jar Jar,
and it's one of my favorite characters. So during the live panel in front of the whole audience, I unboxed Jar Jar Binks in front of her, and she went off it. She wasn't happy with us at all.
If I wasn't sitting in a room full of people, I probably would have cried.
It's funny you were saying about panel reactions, because we did our first one live on Sunday, and we were surprised when the audience were interacting because we didn't think of that. But I suppose if we had done it in America, we wouldn't have been fazed by it because it would be normal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there was a Q&A at the end.
Oh, we didn't have time for it.
We didn't have to because they just asked us while we were doing it. There was one guy who, he was just Chatty McChatson, wasn't he? Yeah. He just, even though he said our podcast sounded shit when he first came in. Yeah. But we sat through the whole thing and he just chatted away to us. So yeah, it was that was interesting. I wasn't expecting it. We've got no one else to talk back to. It's just yous.
Yeah. It's always
that could happen.
Certainly.
I've got a question for the two of yous. Because yous are both obviously like artists and in the comic industry, does it ever make things harder or does it make things easier for sort of like critiquing each other's work? Obviously being in a relationship, and do you sort of have to take off your husband and wife head and put like your professional head on?
Go ahead.
I think for me, I trust his opinion. I trust his eye. I don't think I have to take anything hat off. I think to me, I feel blessed that he's there for his support and his input, and I know that he knows.
Yeah.
And he sees it through the eyes of someone who loves comics or who loves painting and art. So that's an easy peasy thing for me.
Certainly.
I never thought of it as critique. I always hated that word because, in art school, you'd have like critique day. Yeah. And I always hated that because you're just starting to learn and your art's up on the wall and, it's being ripped apart. And I don't look at it as critique. We show each other's, our work, or if we walk into the room, we look at something. But I look at it more as like if your partner was going out and there was like a huge piece of like lint on their clothes, you would go, oh, you have a piece of lint on your clothes, and they would take it off. So it's not like I'm critiquing her outfit. It's just like, oh, that bothers me a bit, or hey, check that out.
Yeah.
So that's the way I've always looked at, anybody's art. I don't, whether it's hers or even at Comic-Cons, I don't walk around and, some people come up and go, hey, look at my portfolio or critique my portfolio. I just sort of like, I view what they have.
Yeah, it's such a hard thing because I say a lot of artwork and stuff like I say, you're putting your personal touch into it, you're putting your soul into it as well. So when you say critique, it can also have the negative effect if someone says, "Oh, this change this or change that," and you're like, "Well, it's like say as." Because like I say, I used to be a graphic designer before I worked in a bank.
Okay.
So that element, like, that's probably why I'm not anymore, because I used to have so many arguments with customers. They used to say, well, can you change this? It's good. No, that's there for a point. It's there for a reason. But no, like I say, I didn't never used to take, well, not criticism badly. It was just, it hurt, if that makes sense. Yeah, so it kind
Of course it hurts, yeah. But especially if you're starting out as an artist and this is your love, and and you have supposedly an education, and then you go out for your first job, and editors tell you this and that, and it just blows your mind. I came up in the 90s where image, the look of image, was really big.
Yeah.
So you felt the comic industry moving towards people who drew more image-like. As opposed to other art styles, and that's a problem. I don't know if I see it too much now, because I do see a lot of diversity in styles.
Yeah.
But in the day, I saw more of editors saying draw this way or draw that.
Oh, it's interesting you say that, though, because like in our community now, in the Nerdy Up North community on Facebook, we do have a lot of different artists, and like a lot of them post the styles, and it's wonderful to see like on individuals. Some people post very fantasy, some people like I say post quite gothic, and it's so diverse, and it makes it like say almost more fun if that in that degree. But yeah, like say I quite like that. Like I say, it's giving you your opinion but not critique. It's like saying, oh, like say appreciate
this
it.
Is what is what I see. Like my best friend's an artist, and I have not one artistic bone in my body. My sister is an art curator, my dad is an artist, my best friend is, but I cannot draw to save my life. But I can't have a conversation with her when it comes to art pencils. I have never seen somebody get so excited over a white art pencil before. It's ridiculous the way that she goes on. But Holly,
I want to know which one it is, because it's really hard.
Do not make us text her, because she will continuously talk about our pencils. She gets so excited over them. When we go to conventions and stuff, and we stay like overnight, she'll bring our sketchbook with her, and she'll have our pencils, and she will tell me in detail how amazing these pencils are and why these pencils are amazing, and I just cannot get on board with it at all. I've got a very good shut off face where I can just zone out. Holly, I wanted to talk to you about Harry Potter. I'm itching. I'm absolutely itching to talk about Harry Potter, because I always, with Harry Potter being so British, I love to hear how Americans feel about it. Especially because I'm a huge Downton Abbey fan as well, and I can't understand how Americans who get like so excited about Downton Abbey, and because it's just so English, like, and we're boring.
Wow.
Oh, God.
Sorry.
Well, I mean,
Well, before you answer, I'm going to let you answer. I just want to drop by and say hello to everyone.
Thank you for joining us.
Hi, thank you for joining.
Thank you so much.
Totally made Charlotte's day.
Happy birthday again.
Thank you.
and she should
Thank
be about
you.
She likes Tara?
Yeah.
You like Tara, Witch of the Black Rose, and you haven't sent in your broadsword girl photo yet?
Charlotte.
Charlotte?
No. No.
Get
I
a
didn't know that was-
sword.
We'll
Find
find
me
I'm-
on
Sure, I know of plenty of people who have one.
Kev is in the
everybody
chat.
in England.
Sort it out.
Sword, right?
Yes, we have them in the living room.
So, friend me on Instagram and Facebook, and we'll talk about the details.
Cool. There you go, Charlotte.
Okay.
Charlotte, is she still there?
Definitely.
She's there.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just broken Charlotte, bless her. Thank you very much.
Hi, thank you.
Thank you.
But yes, so back to the star now. So we're back to Holly. So yes, Harry Potter. I always like to ask the question as well. Did you get into the films first or the books?
No, the books.
The books.
Books.
Mm.
Now, I won't. Yeah. I have to preface this by, like I said, I did go to British school.
Mhm.
I grew up in Manhattan,
Mhm.
and my my high school years, from I guess 8th grade to graduation. I went to Anglo-American, so I took my O levels, took my IBs. All my teachers were either British, Irish, very diverse. It was a UN school.
Yeah, so you probably got a sense of humor a lot more than other people.
That's
yes,
right.
I watched The Young Ones.
Yes.
I had a horrible crush on Adam Ant when I was
who didn't?
17. I made all my friends call me Amanda Ant. I listen to British music. I have photos that I look like Simon Le Bon, with my pirate shirt and my kerchief. So I don't know if I would be a typical American. I love what was it? Another Country. I watched all the Merchant Ivory movies. Room with a View is one of my favorite movies. Yeah. Enchanted April is like in my top 5 favorite movies. Just there you have it.
I love that you love The Young Ones. That is
that's like
Rick Mill is just like my hero.
Okay, so. I get to do this, and you might get it. This is very serious.
Yes.
Yes. My best friend in high school was from Surrey.
Right.
And so, we would do Monty Python skits all the time, So I did not want to like Harry Potter. I'm going to put that out there. Because I am a high functioning witch and a Virgo, and I get a little weird. But I always know the things that I feel most madly, deeply in love, I fought not to in the beginning. Everyone's talking about this book. Of course, I don't want to watch. I don't want to listen to it. I don't want to know about it. So we got it on cassette. I'm like, look, I should give it a try. That's very juvenile. So I listened to it because, I would be working and I listened to the audio. It was the American version.
Right.
So you didn't get Stephen Fry's beautiful tones.
Jim bought me the Stephen Fry ones as well.
Oh, good.
But I'm sorry, Jim Dale is amazing.
Right.
I don't know if you listen to his.
No,
He's brilliant.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And so I listened to it. And I'm thinking, there's a lot of sports in this. I'm trying not to like this. I'm like, okay, I'll listen to it again. So I listened to it again. And it's almost like becoming intoxicated. It's like, okay. And then the second one, and then I was at the midnight, the book unveilings dressed in my Gryffindor outfit because it was before Pottermore came, so I wasn't sorted into Slytherin.
Oh dear.
My house too. Yay.
Right. We are the weeping snakes.
Definitely.
Are you Ravenclaw? Paul's Ravenclaw?
No,
I am.
I didn't actually pick a house because
you don't pick it.
I haven't been looking up to. Sorry, I haven't had one chosen, but it's always one of them things where you want to pick Gryffindor, but it's like picking your favorite sports team that's doing well for everything. So it's kind of
you have to go to Pottermore and get sorted.
Yeah. Right.
Take the test.
Right.
When they and I heard you, Charlotte, you're a Gryffindor. Ravenclaw. Yay! I love all the houses. But in America, they were dropping hints about Pottermore launching, and it was easy for you guys because it was at a normal time. But I would wake up 3:00 in the morning to pick up all those website clues and answer the question. So we would be in the beta and get sorted before everyone. I mean, I've worked hard. And I put Jim's email in there, and I put my email, and they sent him his owl first.
Oh.
And I mean, I was happy, but I was sad that, where's my owl?
Yeah.
And I got it eventually, but he got Slytherin like that. And then I really thought they were going to put me in Ravenclaw because I think I know everything.
Right.
And I'm a Virgo like Hermione. But then they put me in Slytherin, and I just started crying. I was so happy. Merlin was a Slytherin. So I hear the question is in America. I don't know. Maybe you could see I'm a little more hysterical than you are. I'm very immersed. I did watch Downton Abbey for the first season. I enjoyed it, but then I started yelling at the characters.
Yes.
And I was getting a little frustrated with them.
Yeah.
And that was bothering me. It was like, I was like, come on already, stop that.
I would like to say I get it, but Downton Abbey is like my favorite. But the reason I said what I said earlier was because I've mentioned this in the podcast many times. Growing up, I wanted that American lifestyle. So like I wanted I love American culture. So for me to hear an American say, I really like Downton Abbey or Harry Potter, I'm like, but that's not, no, that's it's meant to be the other way around.
Well, I think with Harry Potter, I think that I think it speaks to everybody.
Yes, it's got levels to it as well.
Yeah,
what I wanted
a big Lord of the Rings fan.
Yeah, oh, definitely. But I was going to say, because I know you said you've been to Edinburgh and stuff, but have you ever bin to York? If you're a big Harry Potter fan,
no, not yet.
It's kind of
beautiful.
It's a I don't know how to describe it. It's up north, but a little bit further south. But it's like a city that's never aged, and it's got like shambles as well, like the old Victorian houses where they're like leaning across each other, and they've got loads of Harry Potter stuff and
oh my god,
a very rich history and witches and stuff as well. Very
the street called the Shambles was the inspiration for Diagon Alley.
That's exactly what I was just thinking in my head.
when you walk down it, you totally get it. Like that old buildings, and they're really close together, and it's a shopping street, but it's Diagon Alley.
It's the way that the buildings are not all the same level, and they're just beautiful. Isn't Shakespeare's house?
No,
Am I making this
Guy Fawkes.
No, that's
Guy Fawkes, right?
I saw Shakespeare's house because I went to on the Croton. I went to the Shakespeare, the Crown, or is it the Rose and the Crown? Well, what Croton on the Hudson? No, I don't know.
Yeah, the theatre in Stratford.
Where? Yes. Oh my God, I'm so geographic. I was there. I saw Merry Wives of Windsor, but I don't know. I should.
No, it's interesting. But if you ever do come back to the UK, I would certainly recommend York, just because, the history there. It's as Sam said, it's got Guy Fawkes. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Sure.
Yeah. It's got a lot of steeped in that type of history as well, but it's got a feeling to it as well. I know a lot of cities, like Edinburgh, has a feeling when you go to, you can feel everything.
It's magical.
I love Edinburgh, and it's funny because it was pouring rain. It was December, and we were wet like sheepdogs, and I loved it. I loved it. To me, it felt like the West Village in the 80s. There was the spirit there. The food was terrible.
And we got a bit better.
Well, this was not too long ago, before the fire, but there was only one patisserie that was next to our hotel that we were eating all pastries because, but I'm fussy. Well, I'm not always fussy. just being honest.
Yeah,
but there was a vibe that I could feel that I felt like I was there before, I don't know, past life or whatever, but I really loved it. I really felt, and that, you know, it was not like everyone was like, oh, welcome. And it was just like, this feels right. This feels like every wonderful song I heard in the 80s playing all at once.
Yeah, it's exactly how I felt. I went in October and I came back like I'd gone through something. It was just walking through Edinburgh. We walked from the bottom to the top up to where the graveyard is. And it didn't bother us that I was walking up a steep hill with like big heavy Doc Martens on. It didn't bother us that I got absolutely soaking wet. I even went to a Harry Potter themed afternoon tea. And it was absolutely beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, we had a wand and everything. It was just amazing.
Oh, and I'm a huge fan of All Creatures Great and Small.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
That was my childhood baby,
the original one and the new one is kicking. Did you see the new one?
I haven't watched the new one yet.
I didn't watch the old one either.
You must watch it, because I watched the original one. And you know, there is a style of acting that was for that time.
Yeah.
This new one is amazing.
Right.
Amazing.
I was always scared to go back to that one because with All Creatures Great and Small, it reminds us of my grandfather. Because I used to watch it with my grandfather, so them type of memories is special to me. So I'm always scared to listen to
it. Won't disappoint. I mean, the quality of it, it's different. It is a little more intimate, a little more mature. But it's brilliant, and you just love every single character. And I wish it was on every week, because I want them, I want them in our life.
Yeah.
You know, again, we're talking about passion, just to see the passion of the, these people who love animals, who want to take care of them. And they did a wonderful job. Everyone who was in that, because again, growing up, you're imprinted. Oh, this is my All Creatures Great and Small. But I was so happy to share this with Jim and like, it was such a great experience. The memory of being a kid and then sharing it again.
I think that's why, like say, I love doing this type of podcast. Or I love talking about the things that we do, because we'll talk about like things that will smack you in the face with nostalgia. That's why, again, I'll get the piss taken out of this. I love talking about the Goonies so much, because the Goonies.
They've already been saying
the Goonies count.
They've been saying in the chat, has he brought up the Goonies yet? Not yet, mate.
But like I say, the Goonies has a big special part, and like say that even from childhood, and I love seeing that getting passed down to different people, and it's like say that element, and like say, as you said, passing All Creatures Great and Small to Jim, like I say, that's you sharing that moment with him, and that film, that's something that you can't replicate or take away. It's kind of like a special thing. But right. But like I say, if you like, as I said, with British comedy as well, if you like things like The Young Ones and stuff, there was a great one that came out not too long ago called Man Down, with Greg Davis and Rick Mail before he passed. I don't know if it's on. It might be on BBC, but honestly,
I'll take a look.
It's hilarious. So I'll send you a message with that later. But Man Down, it's like a modern day Young Ones, but just like absolutely chaotic type thing. But
okay, I'm so sad that Rick Mayhew wasn't, left us so early, and that he didn't get to play Peeves.
Yes,
breaks my heart.
Well, he did. They filmed it. There's a cut of Harry Potter with Peeves in, but because the reason they couldn't use it is because he kept on making the cast laugh too much.
But what the director said after the reunion was that maybe he would think about pulling the footage together to fit him in, so they could do the uncut version of Philosopher's Stone, with Rick Mail in it, which I think would be a massive tribute to the man, because I've watched interviews with him where he talks about Harry Potter, He's got nothing but a smile on his face, and he's not even angry that he wasn't in it. Like he's honestly he's Flash Heart to me because I'm a huge Blackadder fan. So he will always be Flash Heart to me.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm like, you're like talking to me and I'm thinking of all these things and everything's going so fast. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh, absolutely fabulous. I want to talk about that. Oh my God. You know, there are all these British things that I don't really get to talk about.
Well, to be honest, like I say, like we definitely would like to have you back on as well. So we could probably do a top 5 British comedies as well. So that could be an interesting episode for their podcast at a later date as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that would be fun.
But Blake 7. I want to say that out loud.
Sorry, Red Dwarf.
Red Dwarf.
Red Dwarf.
My favorite. How can you understand Craig Charles? Like I'm English and I struggle to understand him. His Liverpoolian accent is so thick.
Oh,
Mancunian.
I like the Beatles.
He's a Scouse.
Keep forgetting. No, yes, because he was in Coronation Street. That's why I was confused.
Yeah, he's a Scouse.
But yeah, because I know, like, say, we've been on for quite a bit, but you mentioned that you were going to want to do a card reading for us as well. So I think that might
that's
be
right.
Quite interesting.
Okay.
There.
Yes. I'm gonna use my.
Oh wow!
Look how
This
beautiful that is.
My last Kickstarter,
Mm-hmm.
and so this is an Oracle deck,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a book that goes with. So, you know, you're talking about writing, Sam. So, you know, this is my writing, but, you know, like you said, it's like just right here and then there's art there. So it wasn't sequential.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, I could read from the book when you get the card, but then first I'd like to do just intuitive reading. I told you before we started taping, I started reading tarot when I was 8 years old. I got very curious. I found the deck in the house. Mm-hmm. And ever since then, I've been teaching myself. I started on the basic tarot deck, the Smith Rider deck, Smith Rider Waite deck. They have a lot of names for it now.
I have that deck. My husband got me a deck a couple of years ago because I am really interested, but I've started moving on to Moon. Moon, I don't know if it's the right word, Moon Oracle cards. And
There's
I'm just
so many now.
Yeah. And I'm getting more into that side because tarot really was like, what's what I'm looking for? It was overwhelming. There's a lot. There is a lot to take in. And with Moon, it wasn't that hard.
With the tarot, when I do, and there are divination pledges on my Kickstarter, and it is a session about an hour and a half. I always start with my first tarot deck. That I still have it. It's right here, and I call that my foundation because I feel that each deck has like a personality, and that deck to me is very Hermione, very straight. Let's look at it. Here are the facts. Here's this, that, the other thing. And I'm very like emotional, you know, I'm very Luna Lovegoody. And so I read empathically. So anything that I'm seeing, it's not that you don't know. It's only that I'm connecting with you. And I'm sort of becoming a mirror, and I'm trying to help you see something that needs to be seen, or like you're feeling something. So it's what's calling, you know, to you. So who wants to be first? I feel like Sam does.
Yeah, I do. Please.
Yeah. So, all right. So Sam, when is your birthday?
13th of July.
13th of July? So you're a Cancer.
Yes.
Well, that's why you're always crying.
Yes. I'm a very sensitive soul.
Yeah, I have my moon, my Venus, my Mars, and Cancer. So I feel you, Mama. All right. So what this deck is called To the Heart of Bliss. So these entities that are here in my deck, they're here to guide you. So the card that I pull, it's a message. It's a spark, something for you. Oh, this one right here. Oh, you got the Dark Forest Fairy.
Oh, so it's very goth for Sam, yes. So.
Yes, I would say so. And I would say that she is my most goth fairy. Now I'm going to read. She is like a little owl. See?
Oh, it's an owl is my bird.
Oh, that card is beautiful as well.
That is stunning.
Thank you. I'm going to read it first from my book. Oh, no, let me do the intuitive. Okay. The Dark Forest Fairy is usually when you're starting to feel like you're in a place, like you're lost in a forest. And just like in a fairy tale, and like it's scary, you don't know what's what, you're in a whole new place. And this is the moment where you take a moment and breathe and then reach out for wisdom that you've heard in your past, given, like a grandmother or someone that you really trusted. And that will help you, guide you through that fear and push you ahead down the path. It'll start getting brighter. Right now, it may seem dark, but it's okay because there's nothing there that can harm you. You are being watched over. So let me read it. I'm getting a little weird inside. So I should probably just go with that.
I'm trying to hold it together here, by the way.
No, I'm saying, it's okay. It's like, I wouldn't move away from you. I would hug you at this point, because this is a point where we need the wisdom from someone else who's gone through it. And we need the tenderness of that person. And it is a female energy that I feel that wishes to do this, or you need it. It needs to be that. And I feel grandmother. So let me read it and you tell me, or you keep it to yourself. You don't have to tell me anything really. Okay, so this is the Dark Forest Fairy. Call on the Dark Forest Fairy if you ever find yourself in an unfamiliar wood or you feel lost in a dark place. Call to her and she will bring you the wisdom from the webs of the past. So I just, but the intuitive thing is like, I want to hug you.
Yeah. I feel like I need that. It makes a lot of sense. I don't really want to go too much into it. I don't mind doing it off camera, but not too much into it here. Just because I don't want to bring the mood down.
No problem.
It makes absolute, like, it's very much ringing true with us. Like almost too true. Like very, like it's very, yeah.
But it's important that when you do feel that you don't know, that it's okay, because we don't come with a rule book, you know. It's so human not to know. It's okay. So don't beat yourself up for not knowing, and there are people that their hearts are full and they want to share, so it's okay. It's okay.
Yay.
Thank you. That was really sweet. Oh.
All
right.
You okay there, Sammy?
I'm good.
All right, who's next? Who's brave enough to be next?
I'll let the lovely Charlotte go next, bless her.
Okay, Charlotte. So we're going to find your card. I don't know why I thought of a bunny.
Well, she's got kind of ears going over her head there. If you look at the bookshelf, it looks like she's got ears.
Okay. All right. This is your card, Charlotte. Oh, this is so funny that I thought of a bunny.
Oh. Kind of got Charlotte's face.
This is one of my wild cards. If you only get my deck, you will have to look at this card and you have to just feel what you feel when you look at them. but in my book, I have a little bit of what it means. Those are my feral fairies.
She's definitely feral.
They're more like elementals or little creatures that grow from, just nature and feelings. And that one is the representation of sweet companionship.
Oh.
Just like it doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter that, you're not human or you're not from this earth.
Yeah.
And you will meet another soul that might be from this earth. And then you'll just have the best connection. And you'll just silently have each other's backs.
Yeah.
So
that's so weird. I got engaged about a month ago, I think it was.
Oh, mazel tov.
Thank you. And we had to send the ring back, and I've just picked it up today. And got it back, and that's so weird.
Well, I think that this is a marriage of like this really soul friendship.
My other half is a part of the group, and I probably don't say it enough, but he took a lot on when we got together with all my health problems, and I've never felt as safe as I do with him ever, with anybody.
Very beautiful. Very beautiful.
He is a giant, though. He's about 7 foot tall. So.
Yeah.
He's twice my size.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
It says something when I'm 5'9" and he can tower over me.
Wow. You're very tall.
I'm very tall.
You're an Amazon.
Oh. Yes, I am.
You're like Boudica Amazon.
Oh my God, this just keeps getting better.
Oh, little Charlotte.
Oh, that's so sweet. Yeah, I feel it's a very sweet energy when I actually saw that little entity when I was doing a meditation. I sometimes see like these little fairies and whatnot. I'm a huge Brian Froud and Wendy Froud fan.
Cool.
So they inspired me a lot.
Why did I know that?
All right, Paul, you're next.
Yeah, let's get this one. See, grumpy old man, shall we say?
You're not.
Cult leader. Cult leader.
This one's yours. Oh my God, I knew this was going to be it.
Right.
Oh my God. Okay, I know you're not in my head, okay?
Right. Yeah.
I know you're not.
Am I not?
But there are times where, it's like I see this, I was like, oh, Paul's going to get that, and then you got it. I know I can't prove it, which pisses me off. Because, a lot of people think I'm a little,
No.
to begin with.
You'll get on well with us. Is that a badger?
No, it's a puffin.
All right. Sorry.
All right. Yes.
The Wanderer.
Yeah.
The Wanderer.
Right.
Now, first, I'll preface this by, well, that was weird. By saying I was inspired by this Instagram model, and but before I found her, I kept thinking, well, what if Gandalf was a woman?
Right.
Yeah. And that really inspired me. Like, I love, it's not that I want to change anything, but it's like, what if I created something, and she was like the wandering wizard.
Right. Okay.
And then I have no idea, but I thought, and what if her companion was a puffin?
Yes.
So I know that I researched it, but I'm going to read to you from the book what the Wanderer means. Okay. The Wanderer. Is there a restlessness in your soul? Do you crave adventure? Meditate on the wandering wizard. She surely will have the proper advice about how to prepare for your journey. Your planned path could be on foot or through dreams or thought. However you travel, you must prepare. She will encourage you to make a plan. Wear comfy clothes and take items that will assist you. Perhaps choose a reliable companion, as she has. The right one will enhance your expedition. The wrong one may cloud your experience. So be wise where your foot falls or your mind flows, and who walks and talks with you. On your wandering, you may find yourself face to face with the wizard. Who knows what, after what you've seen and learned, you may have some new wisdom you can share with her. Life is an adventure. Enjoy the preparation of it. Enjoy the experience of it and the recollection of it. Prepare and share.
Yay!
Yeah, that was.
Did it mean anything to you?
Yeah, quite a lot. Because, like, say, I was in a relationship before my wife where I was quite shackled, and, like, say, I was told that basically everything I did wasn't good enough, or I couldn't do certain things. So when I got out of that relationship and met my wife, we have and do go on many adventures. So we do try and like see things, and even like the adventure that of doing these type of things, she's kind of pushed and guided me to try and do it, because to be honest, I've got no balls, so I am chicken shit when it comes to trying new things and stuff. So she's kind of pushed, and like say again, not to say she's my partner, but Sam, like say my partner in crime, has pushed me to do the podcast as well, where we wouldn't
I forced him.
where we wouldn't be talking to the wonderful Holly now if she didn't force me into this and have this amazing idea to, like say, talk shit on a Sunday or Friday night.
I think, this is the perfect connection. And what I feel I need to share is that she is obviously your puffin, who's encouraging you, but to get over that fear and that negative self-talk, which I don't like.
Yes. Sorry.
Not that. No. I meant it's not that it's offensive. I don't like it because I don't think that it's benefiting you. And I think that you are way more courageous than you allow yourself to believe. And that I'll just give you a hack over here, is I feel that the preparation, if you focus on the preparation of, and I'm going to use the word minutia because I learned that word from Guardians of the Galaxy and I love it so much. The minutia. I think when you focus on that, you will forget that negative stuff you say that I will not repeat. So you organize, you figure out the details. Get lost in that, because there's something very like very dopamine hits. Yes. You know, like, oh, you picked out, I love this shirt, I'm gonna wear this shirt, I'm good. The little details, and then all of a sudden the adventure happens.
Yeah. No.
And it'll happen.
Yeah. No, I completely get, like, as you said, with the last weekend gone, we planned to do the panel and everything, and I know, like say I talked about before, but it was just the after effect afterwards. It was so overwhelming, and like say it did take us a few days to actually recover after it. It was just crazy. So like say I can understand, like, you do get the highs, but I'll try and stop with the negative stuff. So yeah, I'll take that.
Well, no, there is no try. There's no try. There's either do or do not. No, I mean, I might be sounding a little that, but it's more that, I see your spark, I see your talent, and like I said, I want to be a mirror. I'm mirroring the positive, and I also see that you don't take compliments easily.
He does not.
And I appreciate that. Yeah. I don't mean to embarrass you.
No, it's fine. Don't worry. Like I said, it's just, I think, it's just the way I am.
I think you're doing a wonderful job. And that's fine. That's fine. I guess I feel like it's almost like I'm an owl. I have a message.
Yes.
And I have to say it. I don't mean to embarrass you or anything like that. But I just think that you're doing a great job. And if anything, if you could get lost in the minutia, that may, you may kind of, that other difficult stuff may just, it'll get distorted. It won't be in your eyesight. You'll be so focused.
Makes me so happy. So happy.
Oh, thank you.
You've made that happy.
I'm really happy.
Oh my God. I got to say one more thing. Hogfather.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yes.
Terry Pratchett.
Terry Pratchett.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
Not enough people here in America have seen the Hogfather. I play the last, clip where he's describing belief over and over again.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. So,
time since I've watched it.
What a, and she's also in Downton Abbey. I'm like, that's granddaughter.
But no, I think
Susan.
But I think that's what we try and do. Like I say, we try and, as I said, when you join the Facebook group, when you're asking about what we try and do, it's about promoting positivity and getting rid of the negativity that does come with a lot of fandoms, which a lot of us has seen, and we do try and keep that side of it as far as we're. And I know we joke and carry on, and like we'll wind each other up, but we do love each other in our own little ways.
100%. Our main message has always been, and it's I didn't do this disclaimer this week because I didn't feel that it was needed, but in the disclaimer I always say we keep the toxic behavior out of nerdism, and it's something I really strongly believe in. There is too much of it out there to where it's just a nasty place to be involved in, and this is why it's like the main like my main thing of the group anyway.
But like I say, I like having a bit crack. But Holly, I know, like I say, looking at the time, we've been on for nearly an hour and a half, bless you. So thank you so much for coming.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Just being able to nerd out with you guys and share. Like I said, I feel like an 8-year-old, and I'm sharing like the drawing I did. And will you please put this up on your refrigerator, please?
Oh, definitely.
Definitely.
Please go to my Kickstarter pledge so I can send you a gift.
Don't worry, I'm just going to put the picture on the YouTube channel again. So just tell us about your Kickstarter again one more time, Holly, so we can kick off.
It is the Vampirella. Did I call it the gigantic 4-inch enamel pin?
Yes.
Yes, and it is an illustration based on my. Can you see it?
So beautiful.
Definitely.
So beautiful.
My ode to Nagel. And we got t-shirts, we have pins, we have a 2-inch pin so you can wear that and frame the 4-inch one because it's going to be like big.
Yeah.
And we've got some comic add-ons and have original artwork. Jim had original artwork, but it was all grabbed up.
Yeah.
Let's see. We'll just go. There's so much.
We'll definitely put a link to all your Kickstarter and like the website on the video as well.
And your Instagram and Facebook and anywhere that anyone can reach you, we will do it, Holly.
But Holly, you've absolutely made our day for coming on. So thank you so much.
You mind?
My heart is so full, and I am so inspired. And I think I'm gonna go and cry.
So what we'll do, we'll just wrap up a little bit now. So again, like say, follow us on our Facebook page, the Nerdy Up North community, Instagram, Twitter, wherever it is now.
TikTok.
I don't like TikTok.
I know you don't.
You followed me on my TikTok.
I do.
That's Laura.
Because Laura keeps telling us we need to do more things to get out there. But please subscribe, like our videos on YouTube, hit the bell. Like I say, you can find us on most platforms like Spotify, iTunes. But if you want the full experience, check us out on YouTube. Then you see our lovely faces. On Sunday. We are doing another episode where me, Sam, and Laura are reviewing Stranger Things. So we are trying to fire through that tomorrow night. So the last 2 episodes. So we're going to do a talk on our thoughts on the big spoilers and big things. So that is going to be a spoiler episode.
Yeah,
so
I don't think anyone's ready for the emotional level that I'm about to bring to that episode. It's going to go down.
Laura.
I know. Laura's just as bad.
But again, thank you so much. Like, you don't know how much this means to us, Holly. Like, say this means a lot. So thank you.
It meant a lot to find your group. I totally felt where you were coming from, and I felt so happy and comfy. And
can I ask how you found the group? Because it still baffles me how we've got such an event. Was it you?
I stalked her on Instagram. So I kept on messaging, please join the Facebook. I think I sent you a message saying, please join our Facebook group. So yeah.
Did you?
I think I did. You were like, oh, hi. And like I said, we got talking for about like a day or something. Then you were like, oh, yeah, I'll come and join. And then you're like, you showed us all your artwork. I was like, wow. But yeah, I stalked you for a bit on Instagram.
It was so natural. I found it. I probably, and I always check back if someone likes any of my art. I always look to see, where, vet it. Mm-hmm. And I saw all your stuff. I was like, oh, this looks like so much fun. So, yeah.
Yes.
Everyone, you got to join these guys.
Thank you. But
thank you.
No problem. So, anything else, guys, you want to add, or are you happy? Cool.
No.
Right. So, same bat channel, same bat time, same bat channel. I even forgot the words there. So, yeah.
Stay nerdy, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Loving you isn't the right